vehicles a day are you producing here?
We're producing 300 vehicles a day on 2 shifts.
At first glance, it's a scene straight out of Detroit. But these trucks aren't being assembled in the auto capital of the U.S. Instead, they're rolling off a GM assembly line in Brazil, 2 hours outside the country's largest city, São Paulo.
If you look at the last 5 years just in Brazil, we've invested over $3 billion in new products, in improved productivity, and also in increasing our capacity.
As middle-class aspirations take root in Brazil's poorest communities, automobile ownership remains the ultimate status symbol. During America's golden age, the family's first car purchase was a rite of passage. Now it's an American company that's trying to recreate that moment for the millions of people living here in Brazil.
And it's a growing market. 40 million people climbed into Brazil's middle class between 2003 and 2011. A record 3.8 million vehicles were sold in 2012 in Brazil, and analysts expect that number to hit nearly 6 million by 2016.
Is everyone just realizing this is a market they want to be in?
The market in Brazil is exploding. Coming back after just 3 years away, it's a completely different country. The streets are different, the vehicles are different.
The vehicles that roll off this assembly line in São José dos Campos are designed just a few hours away in one of GM's 5 global design centers.
Every car in this room was designed in Brazil for the Brazilian market?
Absolutely, yes. We just came out of an enormous, unprecedented launch cycle where we launched 10 new vehicles in 18 months.
GM, like all foreign automakers, knows if you want to sell in Brazil, you better produce in Brazil. Tariffs on autos from outside the country can be as high as 340%, and the government recently extended a tax break on cars manufactured locally. Even with all these protectionist measures, last year Brazil's automakers suffered their first production decline in over a decade as the economy slowed.
You recently had to lay off 600 workers here at this plant. Is that connected at all to the slowdown in auto sales?
We're seeing basically a shift in demand. In the car assembly plant, we're seeing less demand for the product that we have there.
Despite GM's long history in Brazil, they've had a presence since 1925, Chevy still trails the country's 2 most popular brands, Fiat and Volkswagen.
So when's GM going to be #1 in Brazil?
What, you know, I wouldn't get hung up with #1 in vehicle sales, #1 in market share. What we want is a profitable, sustainable business here.